Good evening and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's start with the day's top stories. All due process and judicial process followed in Christian Michel's extradition, asserts Foreign Ministry. Calls it a good example of cooperation between India and the UAE. Government to consider UK High Commission's request for consular access to the middleman in the multi-crore Augusta Westland chopper deal. India expresses hope that Pakistan will fulfill its promises on Kartarpur Corridor. Government calls it unfortunate that Islamabad tried to politicize the effort to fulfill a long-standing demand of the Sikh community. Polling to start at 8 a.m. in Rajasthan, 7 a.m. in Telangana tomorrow. Over 2.8 crore eligible voters to decide fate of 1,821 candidates in 119-seat Telangana Assembly. 4.74 crore voters to cast vote in Rajasthan. 2,188 candidates in the race for 199 seats. Tributes paid to Baba Saheb Ambedkar on his 62nd death anniversary. President, Vice President and Prime Minister pay homage to the architect of the Indian Constitution at a special function in Parliament House. And in Hockey World Cup in Bhubaneswar, France stunned Olympic champions Argentina 5-3 in their Pool A match. Argentina has already qualified for the quarterfinals. In the other Pool A match, Spain eliminated after New Zealand holds it to a 2-2 draw. The Union Cabinet met a short while ago in New Delhi, announcing its decisions. Commerce and Industry Minister Suresh Prabhu said, for the first time, the government has decided to frame an agricultural export policy. The policy will aim to double India's farm exports to more than $60 billion by the year 2022. The policy will seek to ensure a stable and predictable farm exports regime with limited state interference.
For the first time ever, Government of India had decided to frame an agriculture export policy. As you know, India has received, luckily, very good weather to create and produce a lot of different kinds of food grains, different kinds of agriculture products. And there was a time when we used to import, now we are able to export the products. But we didn't have a policy in place, and that's why we have created a policy framework today. So the silent feature of the policy is that this is in line with the Prime Minister's vision of doubling farmers' income. And to do that, we'll diversify the products by destination from high-value products, value-added, as well as perishable will be given special preference. Today, rice, marine products, and meat, only these three products constitute about 52% of agriculture export. Therefore, we need to diversify and we'll work on that.
Cabinet today approved the implementation of the Shahapur Kandi Dam project Punjab on river Ravi. Ravi river का काफी पानी है जो पड़ोसी देश में चला जाता है और ये पंजाब में उस वजह से उसको हमारे पंजाब में उसका नुकसान होता है. तो इसमें सेंट्रल असिस्टेंस जो दी जाएगी 485.38 crores for over a period of 5 years from 2018-19 to 2022-23.
And on to the other big story of the day. The CBI is questioning Augusta Westland Scam middleman Christian Michel, seeking to find out the names of his accomplices as well as his political connections. The Ministry of External Affairs, meanwhile, is considering the British High Commission's request for consular access to Michel. This in the midst of a war of words between the BJP and the Congress party.
The CBI is questioning Christian Michel in the 3,600 crore VVIP chopper scam case, a day after a Delhi court allowed his custodial interrogation for 5 days. The CBI is trying to identify his aides and alleged beneficiaries of the kickbacks. Michel's lawyer Aljo K. Joseph met him at the CBI office a day after he was expelled from the Youth Congress for defending him. Meanwhile, the Ministry of External Affairs said it was considering the British High Commission's request for consular access to Michel. The MEA said all due judicial process was followed in his extradition.
ये बात गौर करने लायक है, जो ड्यू प्रोसेस होता है उसको मद्देनज़र रखते हुए और जो भी लीगल प्रोसेस है उसको एग्जॉस्ट करने के बाद क्रिश्चियन मिशेल का एक्स्ट्राडिशन भारत में हुआ. दिस इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ cooperation, reflection of cooperation between India and UAE, the close strategic partner which we have between the two countries.
The arrest of the key accused in the UPA-era scam has given a perfect opportunity to the BJP to corner the Congress. BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra said the Congress had sent its team of lawyers to defend Michel.
जब कांग्रेस के लोग क्रिश्चियन मिशेल का केस लड़ रहे हैं तो पार्टी से निकालने का नाटक क्यों है, केस से क्यों नहीं विथड्रॉ किया?
The Congress has denied all charges.
भाजपा जो पूरी तरह कानूनी तरीके से विफल हो गई कांग्रेस पार्टी के खिलाफ सबूत ढूंढने में, कांग्रेस पार्टी के खिलाफ कानून की किताब के अनुसार जांच करने में, अब बौखलाहट में और घबराहट में एक मनगढ़ंत कहानी पैदा करके कांग्रेस को बदनाम करना चाहती है.
Christian Michel, a British national, is accused of receiving a bribe of 225 crore rupees in the 3,600 crore Augusta Westland VVIP chopper scam. He was extradited from the UAE on Tuesday night. Michel is one of the 3 middlemen examined in the case, along with Guido Hashke and Carlo Gerosa. With inputs from Akhilesh Suman and Vipin Chauhan, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
MEA spokesperson Ravish Kumar has criticized Pakistan for politicizing the Kartarpur Corridor issue. At a press briefing in New Delhi on Friday, the MEA spokesperson said India sees the Kartarpur Corridor as the fulfillment of a long-pending demand of the Sikh community. However, he said it is unfortunate that Pakistan tried to politicize the religious issue at the groundbreaking ceremony. Although he added that India remains hopeful that the neighbour will fulfill its promise with regard to the completion of the Kartarpur Corridor.
On the Kartarpur Corridor issue itself, we see it as a fulfillment of the long-pending demand of the Sikh community. It was indeed unfortunate that Pakistan attempted to politicize the issue, a religious issue related to the sentiments of the Sikh community. We do hope that Pakistan will fulfill all the announcements they have made in this regard. They will implement the announcements which they have made with regard to the Kartarpur Sahib Corridor.
News now from the pole-bound states of Rajasthan and Telangana. The stage is set for the assembly elections in the 2 states of Rajasthan and Telangana. First, let's focus on Rajasthan. The Vasundhara Raje-led government is seeking a second consecutive term, with party bigwigs appealing to the people to give BJP another chance. The Congress, however, is fighting for a comeback. The state's 4.74 lakh citizens will elect members for 199 seats out of 200 on Friday, for which over 2,200 candidates are in the fray. The 2 main contenders, the BJP and the Congress, have fielded 200 and 195 candidates respectively, along with the Bahujan Samaj Party that has fielded 190 candidates. 840 candidates are contesting elections as independents. Election to the Ramgarh Assembly seat stands postponed following the death of the BSP candidate from there. Our correspondent Ravindra Shoran takes us through the election preparations from Kota in Rajasthan. Take a look.
Three-tier security arrangement has been done by Election Commission too for a fair and free election. We are now at the polling one of the stations where the electronic voting machine has been distributed, and allocation of the poll officials' destination has also been done here. All the important documents are there inside, whatever the requirement is, including the first aid box is also here. Yes. What is that? Can you please tell? This is for those voters who can't see and visually challenged, impaired.
नेत्रहीन मतदाता है, उनकी सुविधा के लिए चुनाव आयोग ने डमी पेपर शीट दिया हुआ है, जिसके अंदर वो अपने इसकी जो ब्रेल लिपि से उभरे हुए हैं और इस विधानसभा क्षेत्र में जितने कैंडिडेट खड़े हुए हैं उसकी पूरी जानकारी उसको दिया हुआ है.
Election Commission has in this election has launched a vigorous campaign to reach out to every voter, whoever he is, wherever he is living, and Election Commission is targeting this time that this time the voter turnout should be more than last elections. Election Commission has, you have seen all the voters, including who are visually impaired, and also differently abled voters has also been included, and Election Commission has made arrangement for the help of those voters as well as per their requirement, and three-tier police arrangement has been done here, security arrangement has been done here, which includes the CAPF, the local police and the plainclothes police which are roaming around. With cameraman D.K. Pandey, Ravin Singh Shoran reporting for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Telangana will also vote tomorrow to seal the fate of 1,821 candidates battling for the 119 assembly seats. Heavy security arrangements have been made to ensure free, fair and peaceful elections in the youngest state of the country. For the first time, the Election Commission is using VVPATs in Telangana elections.
After a high-voltage campaign, India's youngest state, Telangana, is set to vote to elect its second assembly on Friday. 1,821 candidates are in the fray for 119 constituencies. Over 2.8 crore electorate are eligible to exercise their franchise in the state on a total of 32,815 polling stations. Polling will begin at 7 a.m. on Friday and end at 5 p.m. Heavy security arrangements have been made to ensure smooth elections. Security has been beefed up in areas bordering Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra, which are identified as left-wing extremist-affected regions. 13 of the 119 assembly seats have been identified as sensitive to left-wing extremism, where polling will end at 4 p.m. an hour earlier than other constituencies. 1 lakh police personnel, including the entire Telangana police force, 25,000 central security forces and 20,000 from other states have been deployed. 446 flying squads are on alert to swing into action in case of any irregularity. 448 static surveillance teams will keep a watch on the situation. 224 video surveillance teams and 133 video viewing teams have also been pressed into service. For the first time in Telangana, the Election Commission is using voters' verifiable paper audit trail along with EVMs. In these elections, the TRS, the BJP and the Congress-led Mahakutami are logged in a triangular contest. The Congress has stitched together the Mahakutami alliance along with the Telugu Desam Party, the Telangana Jana Samiti and the Communist Party of India to take on the ruling TRS. The ruling Telangana Rashtra Samiti has fielded candidates in all 119 seats. BJP candidates are contesting from 118 seats. Congress has fielded 99 candidates. Its allies Telugu Desam Party and CPI have fielded 13 and 3 candidates respectively in these polls. During the campaign, all parties appeared confident of victory. Now, the voters will decide who wins the battle for Telangana. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And ahead of elections, the Telangana Election Commission has assured voters that electronic voting machines and voters' verifiable paper audit trails cannot be tampered with. Speaking to Rajya Sabha TV, Chief Electoral Officer Rajat Kumar said that an elaborate framework of administrative and security protocols and procedural checks and balances have been put in place in Telangana.
Tell me about the preparations of Election Commission to ensure free and fair elections take place in Telangana.
Preparation of a pure and complete electoral roll. So we took up a massive enrollment drive. There was also special emphasis on entire gamut of activities related to enabling people with disabilities to access these elections. So starting with about 70,000-80,000 voters with disabilities enrolled in our electoral rolls, we went house to house, we contacted them, we tried to find out where they stay and what kind of assistance they need, and we provided doorstep services for enrollment for them. We have arranged for free pick-up and drop for the people with disabilities, voters with disabilities. We have provided Braille Epic cards to them. We have provided volunteers to assist them at the polling centers. Our gender ratio has improved. It used to be about 970, now it has become 982. Now all the machines are ready, they are tested, and the personnel has been trained on handling them.
How do you drive home the point that EVMs cannot be tampered with?
We have gone down to 20,000 locations and carried out mock polling. Proof of the pudding is in eating. Right in front of them, we conduct an election, we take out the slips, count them, tally with the votes registered electronically. And I think demonstration is the best way of convincing.
Tell us about the security measures in the areas that are Naxal infested.
We have first of all curtailed the polling hours so that the teams could be evacuated. All through the campaign, we have been sanitizing those areas. We have ensured that the candidates have actually been able to travel around and campaign freely over there.
Time for a short break on news tonight, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Welcome to Security Scan. I am Vishal Dahiya, and this week we will take a holistic look at India's military might.
Unless you are independent, indigenously, you cannot become a very great power.
Indian Army has recognized that you need to modernize yourself, you need to cut your flap, which is the requirement of the day.
Capacity building in the Indian state, in the Indian civilization is only possible, Vishal, if we get on to do our own thing as quickly as possible.
Welcome back. The Supreme Court on Thursday reserved judgment on the petition moved by CBI Director Alok Verma, challenging the centre's decision to divest him of all his powers and send him on leave. A bench headed by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi concluded the arguments on behalf of the centre, Central Vigilance Commission, Verma and others who were party in the matter. The court also heard the petition moved by NGO Common Cause that sought court-monitored SIT probe into allegations of corruption against various CBI officials, including Special Director Rakesh Asthana. Both Verma and Asthana were sent on leave in October after they levelled allegations of corruption against each other. The Calcutta High Court on Thursday denied permission to the BJP for a Rath Yatra from Cooch Behar in West Bengal. It posted the matter for further hearing on 9th January. Earlier, the West Bengal government informed the High Court that it refused permission for the proposed yatra led by BJP Chief Amit Shah. The BJP was slated to hold 3 Rath Yatras that will start from different parts and traverse all the 42 Lok Sabha constituencies. BJP leader Kailash Vijayvargiya said the party will take action after the decision of the divisional bench on Friday.
कलेक्टर और एसपी की रिपोर्ट को टीएमसी की रिपोर्ट मानते हैं, राजनीतिक प्रेरित रिपोर्ट मानते हैं और इसीलिए हम न्यायपालिका के पास गए हैं कि ये राजनीति से प्रेरित रिपोर्ट है, हमारी इससे सहमति नहीं है, आप हमें हमारे साथ न्याय करिए। डीबी के निर्णय आने के बाद ही कोई कार्रवाई करेंगे, पर हमारी तैयारी पूरी है। अध्यक्ष जी भी आने को तैयार हैं और जैसे ही न्यायपालिका का निर्णय हमें मिलेगा, आदेश मिलेगा, हम उसका पालन करेंगे।
President Ramnath Kovind will visit Myanmar for 4 days from the 10th of December to the 14th. This will be the first visit of an Indian president to Myanmar in 12 years, after former President APJ Abdul Kalam's visit in 2006. During the visit, the president will hold talks with his counterpart U Win Mint and State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi. Several agreements are expected to be signed during the visit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had visited Myanmar last year. Late last year, the two countries signed the Rakhine State Development Program to assist the Myanmarese government to build housing infrastructure for the return of the displaced Rohingyas.
Myanmar is, of course, a close neighbor. It is also, by virtue of being an ASEAN country, the only one to which we are linked by land and sea. Therefore, it serves for us as a link to Southeast Asia. And for these reasons, it is a country with which India attaches importance from the strategic perspective, from the economic perspective, and from the cultural perspective, given our cultural linkages and our diaspora present in Myanmar.
Prasar Bharati CEO Shashi Shekhar Vempati shared his views today on transformative policies in action, a way forward at the 7th CII Big Picture Summit 2018. The two-day event is being held on the theme Changing Media and Entertainment Landscape from Convergence to Transformation in Delhi. He said that transformation has to be done with a digital-first mindset.
As a public broadcaster, one of the greatest learnings for me from Convergence in the past 18 months has been that if you have quality content, there is an audience for it. And the audience may not necessarily, be available in this crowded market space of linear TV, but it can be found on the other platforms. A great example of that is Rajya Sabha TV. It is a parliamentary news channel. It is not marketed. It is not promoted. We have not spent a dime, advertising it anywhere. And it is not even measured by BAR. So there are no TV ratings, nothing. And it has accomplished an organic subscriber base of million, probably now it is touching 1.5 million on YouTube. Just sheer draw of audience because of the quality of content it produces. I mean, it's an amazing example of how, if you have quality content, you will have an audience. And I'm happy to share that, DD News is now a few thousand subscribers away from catching up with Rajya Sabha TV. On 1 million+ subscribers on YouTube. Again, it's all organic. We have not spent a dime promoting or marketing anything. Right. So all of this underscores the need that when we transform, we have to, do it with a digital-first mindset. As we, look to become platform-based in our operations, how we source content, how we source talent, and we start breaking down the silos between traditional TV and traditional radio, so that our content is accessible to consumers where they want it, how they want it, when they want it.
A soldier was killed in a ceasefire violation by Pakistan in Machil sector of Kupwara district in Jammu and Kashmir. According to the army, Indian troops retaliated in adequate measure to the Pakistani aggression. This was the second ceasefire violation along the line of control in the Kashmir Valley within 24 hours. One soldier was injured in a ceasefire violation by Pakistani troops in Uri sector on Wednesday. And some more national updates in Nationwide. The centre approved additional flood assistance of 3,048 crore rupees for Kerala, 131 crore rupees for Nagaland and 539 crore rupees for Andhra Pradesh. The additional assistance to these states will be given from the National Disaster Response Fund. The decision was taken at a high-level committee meeting chaired by Home Minister Rajnath Singh. The Supreme Court on Thursday termed as unacceptable the death of nearly 15,000 people in accidents caused by potholes in the last 5 years. The court said the number was probably more than those killed on the border or by terrorists, indicating that authorities are not maintaining roads properly. It also asked the centre to file its response after consulting all state governments by next month. Benchmark equity indices cracked for the third session in a row on Thursday on negative global cues, weak rupee and sustained selling by foreign and domestic institutional investors. The BSE Sensex plunged 572.28 points or 1.59%, to close at 35,312.13 points. The NSE Nifty fell 181.75 points or 1.69% to 10,601.15. India has strongly condemned the terrorist attack in Iran's port city of Chabahar on Thursday. The Ministry of External Affairs released a statement and termed it as the despicable terror attack. India also expressed condolences to the government and the families of the victims of this attack. At least 2 people were killed and several wounded outside police headquarters in the port city of Chabahar when a suicide bomber blew up a car.
India strongly condemns today's despicable terrorist attack in Chabahar, Iran. We express our condolences to the government and the people of Iran and the families of the victims of this attack. We wish speedy recovery to those injured. The perpetrators behind this dastardly attack should be brought to justice expeditiously. There can be no justification for any act of terror.
And the country today marked the 63rd Mahaparinirvan Divas of the father of the Constitution, Dr. BR Ambedkar. Several programs were held to mark the day. A function to pay floral tributes was organized at BR Ambedkar's statue in Parliament House. The President, Vice President and Prime Minister, along with Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan, led the country in paying tributes to Dr. Ambedkar. Several other leaders, including former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and Congress President Rahul Gandhi, also paid tributes.
डॉक्टर भीमराव जी अंबेडकर ने सारा जीवन देश के लिए समर्पित किया, देश के लिए न्योछावर किया। भारत का संविधान उनकी अध्यक्षता वाली कमेटी ने बनाया और भारत के संविधान में देश में सद्भावना, समता और समरसता लाने की प्रेरणा दी है। आज बाबा साहब भीमराव जी अंबेडकर की पुण्यतिथि है। सारा देश उनको नमन करके उनको याद कर रहा है।
बाबा साहब डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर जी ने न केवल भारतीय संविधान का निर्माण किया, अपितु उन्होंने भारत को पूरी तौर पर एक सूत्र में बांधने का भी काम किया।
And paying rich tributes to Dr. Ambedkar, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu in his message said, Ambedkar championed the cause of the marginalized and strove for creating a casteless society. He said, we will be paying a real tribute to Baba Saheb Ji by establishing a truly egalitarian society and by upholding values and ethics in public life. While Prime Minister Modi paid homage to the father of the Constitution through a video.
आज 6 दिसंबर पूज्य बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर का महापरिनिर्वाण का प्रसंग है।
बाबा साहब आम्बेडकर ने हमेशा न्याय प्रियता को प्राथमिकता दी। बाबा साहब की विचारधारा के मूल में समानता अनेक रूपों में निहित है। सम्मान की समानता, कानून की समानता, अधिकार की समानता, मानवीय गरिमा की समानता, अवसर की समानता, ऐसे ही कितने ही विषयों का बाबा साहब ने अपने जीवन में लगातार उसकी व्याख्या की, उन विषयों को उठाते रहे।
And in Men's Hockey World Cup, Argentina has reached the quarterfinals, while the match between Spain and New Zealand ended in a draw. New Zealand fought back from 2 goals down to hold Spain to a 2-2 draw in their penultimate Pool A match and qualify for the knockout stages of the Men's Hockey World Cup. World number 8 Spain scored 2 field goals in the opening 2 quarters in through Albert Beltran and Alvaro Iglesias to go into the halfway break with a comfortable 2-0 lead. But the Black Sticks made a stupendous comeback in the final 10 minutes of the game and secured their place in the crossover round of the tournament. France defeated the mighty Argentina the 3rd time in the Hockey World Cup. Argentina scored only 3 goals as France took the lead by 5. Following this match, the lowest ranked team in the World Cup, France, knocked out world number 8 out of the Hockey World Cup. Till now, in Pool A, Argentina leads the table with 6 points. New Zealand have 4 points. Spain and France. In fact, Spain has 2 points while France has only 1. And that's it from us in this news bulletin. Thanks for your time.